Well, Jamie, can you hear us?
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning.
How are you guys?
Doing well. And you? I appreciate you calling and giving us some information.
Absolutely. No, thanks for all you guys do. And, I enjoyed, you guys have been helpful on many different issues over the years. I know you work closely with Brennan, whether it's ag immigration or Great Outdoors Act or whatever we're working on, you guys seem to be in kind of lockstep with what the congressman's trying to promote. So anyway, just a big thank you before we start.
Yeah, no, of course. But
A thank you from the man cave, huh?
Yeah, this is my DC. This is our DC office, right? I've got a Vandals flag back there as well too. So hopefully there's no Broncos in here that I'm offending.
Just a little bit. My nephew used to play football with Kellen Moore.
Oh, right on.
Just a tiny bit, but I'm a hardcore BYU fan, so.
Well, hey, you guys are pretty much the front runners for national champions right now.
Yeah. So
that was quite a wallop you put on Navy the other night.
Oh yeah, they've got a good, solid team this year.
Yeah, no kidding.
That's the perennial cry of the BYU fan. This is our year.
This is our year. You guys going to get another schedule or game on the schedule?
They've got a couple openings, but they're waiting to see if the ACC or the SEC, they haven't committed to the later season in case they need to do makeup games.
Okay.
But if they're that good, I'd like to see them take on Clemson.
That would be that'd be a fun game to watch. That's for darn sure.
Yeah. Anyway, tell us a little bit about what this money program is and what it can be used for.
Yeah. So in thinking about what you guys are looking at, locally, it's the money has to be spent on local land. It can't be federal land for the portion of the funds we're talking about today. So what we're talking about is using funding for city parks, local parks, and it can be a swimming pool. It could be a recreation area, such as you guys are probably familiar with Jensen's Grove over in Blackfoot. My dad's a Blackfoot native, so that's kind of what I always equate it to is, it can be something as widely used as Jensen's Grove, for instance, and how you apply for the funding. And essentially what you guys would do if you're interested, and the next step, and perhaps Brennan's already done this, is sent you guys Kathy Mears information at Idaho Parks and Rec. And if we haven't yet, we'll be sure to send you her info. But that's how you apply for the grants. You guys submit a proposal, you put it together. We could probably find you a couple examples of other proposals that cities and counties have done over the years for these local projects for their city parks. It can be a green belt, like the green belt in Boise is one example. The Foothills trail system, the part that is on the local and county land and to a degree city land, can be used for these funds are available. And the idea of why they're so hot right now is because Congress just reauthorized the full allocation of $900 million, which it's a pretty popular program in the standpoint that these aren't taxpayer funds. So it's not like $900 million of taxpayer dollars are going out the door. These are all oil and gas energy leases that the federal government takes in. So politically speaking, it's not a tough situation to say you're taking folks' taxpayer dollars and spending it on whatever. These are committed funds that were drawn up by actually one of the architects of the original law was Frank Church back in the 60s. So it's a really popular program, especially the stateside funds that we're talking about. There is another component not relating to you guys, but it does encompass land acquisition, and that's on the federal side. So that's your local fishing hole that you have access to, and some of the easements that you guys use to get across, sometimes private property. They'll create an easement to get across onto hunting and more public land access. So that's a different component of the bill. But what you guys are looking at is the LWCF stateside funds. And basically what happens is Idaho Parks and Rec every year gets a big lump sum. And it's actually a pretty competitive program. So, I'm not quite sure what Kathy's list looks like for this year. You guys might be looking at, fiscal year 2022 funds if you're planning that far down the road as what to apply for. So I guess more than anything, I'd be interested to hear what you guys are looking at using the funding for, and then maybe we can help fit that into a box or guide you guys into, hey, frame it this way or couch it this way, so that way it meets the requirements of the program to make sure it's a right fit for the grant funding you guys are looking at.
So you say it cannot be used on federal lands, but can be used?
A different part of the program can be used on federal lands, and that's for acquisition purposes and easement purposes. And that's you'd have to work directly with that federal agency if it was Forest Service land, if it was BLM land, and which is not uncommon. You'd have to work with those agencies, but in large part, it has to be on state, local, and city property to be used for the stateside funds, as they're called.
The one question, and I'm not sure, we'd go there, but are you familiar with the Ryrie Reservoir Recreation Area?
Yeah.
The Blacktail side, we still have to use generators down there. It's about 4 miles to bring power in, which would be expensive, but it would really improve that down there.
Okay.
Would that qualify? Because that's on BOR property, but the power to it is on.
I'd have to look at it. So when you guys are talking about creating a right of way to bring generate some of the power off of that federal land or from the reservoir.
Oh, Rocky Mountain Power, they have a power line to a farmer that's within 4 miles now. So you'd have to get a power lines for that next 4 miles to get it over to Blacktail.
Okay, got it. And so you guys are looking at funding for the construction of that power line. Is that what I'm getting? Okay. I don't know if the LWCF stateside funds would be a perfect fit for this particular venture because it's typically recreation based. It's worth asking Kathy Muir, what just in a shot in the dark saying, hey, would this potentially qualify? That doesn't mean there isn't other pots of money out there that might qualify. So let me put my thinking cap on and get back to you guys on that one, because I came in thinking LWCF sort of mind and recreation minded funding. So
what about an RV park?
RV park would qualify. Yeah, absolutely.
Really?
At the 4-H fairground.
Yeah.
I mean, it's tied with that, but
Oh, that's an excellent idea.
yeah, that just hit me.
Yeah,
That's an excellent idea. Yeah, would that qualify?
Is the fairground, is that county fair?
It's county property.
Yeah.
It's our 4-H facility, and if you've never seen that, Bryan's been heading that up for the last couple of years, and it's probably, the comments we hear, is one of the nicest and best in the West. So this would really supplement it. They can use it when, they come for the fair, but it'd be something that could be used year round. It's just on the outskirts of Idaho Falls out by Sandy Downs.
Yeah. Okay. That'd be a great fit, to be honest with you. It's recreation. It's pretty expansive once you get into this side of things in terms of, community use, basically. So I think this would be a great fit. And that's one that, if you guys had sort of a blueprint on what you're trying to do, or just even a couple sentences or a rough sketch, that might be worth pinging over to Kathy Muir, and then she could give you some ideas on, how to submit the proposal in the coming years. So I think that's a great idea.
So Kathy's in Boise, right? That's who you're talking?
Yep.
Can you send us her contact information? And
Yep.
I would have our manager out there at the fairground contact her. She would be the one writing for the grant.
Yep. Yeah. Perfect. Yeah. And Kathy will let your fairground operator or manager, give her all the details she needs on the forms and all of the above to get it done. And she does a great job. It's, like I said, it's a competitive program, but there's about double the money in the pot coming in the next 5 years. So it should have opportunity to fund a few more projects. Basically what we're talking about right now, RV park. And I think that's a great idea. And as you're thinking about other funding, opportunities, this is an annual funding stream. There's always money there. So, thinking about parks and green belts and all that good stuff, just keep this. If you guys have a successful endeavor on this one, think long-term.
How much could we apply for? I mean, what's a typical ask for something like that?
Oh, it just kind of varies. It could be anywhere from a multi-year project that spans up to $1 million, I think, but all the way down to, a couple $100,000 for, and even $50,000 for these park improvement projects. So that's kind of the scope. And, there's not a whole lot of limitations. It's more based on the year-to-year demand. So the amount of money, because Congress has appropriated different amounts over the years, has created a situation where Kathy never really knows what she gets, and she's got to base it out over all of her applications she gets. So it varies from year to year. So it could be, she could go as high as she wants, but she's also got to be a good steward and distribute the money evenly throughout the state. So, but I suspect she can probably do some more costly projects in the coming years because of the amount of money that's coming in. So do you guys have a ballpark on what you're thinking this could potentially cost?
I think they were figuring around 600,000.
Okay, that's in the ballpark for sure. And sometimes, you get a portion of the funds, to help supplement the cost, and sometimes it's the full boat. So, certainly all the options on the above are good ideas.
Does it require a match?
Not on the LWCF state side, no.
Now, tell me that acronym again. What are you calling this?
So this pot of funding is called LWCF stateside. So LWCF stands for Land and Water Conservation Fund, and it's a program administered by the National Park Service to the states to then allocate the money to different projects throughout each state. And there's actually quite a few different components of the Land and Water Conservation Fund, the federal land acquisition project we were talking about earlier and stuff like that. But for your guys' purposes, I think the stateside program is where you're going to see the most benefit and the most help to Bonneville.
One other, and I was wondering about, because our Parks and Rec guy was up there at Blacktail, there's kind of a finger, we already have a couple of campsites that they can boat out to. Mm-hmm. He was looking at adding 1 or 2 campsites, that boaters could boat out and then camp overnight.
Yeah. Campgrounds is right in line with and again, is it on federal land, or is this county or city land?
I'm not sure that area. It might be Bureau of Reclamation.
Okay.
But it's maybe Idaho Fish and Game.
If it's Idaho Fish and Game and state land, LWCF might not be a perfect fit, but there's a couple programs that come to mind that I could send you guys as part of the grant application and to expand the campgrounds.
I think it's more likely on BOR, because it's just right off the lake.
That would make it tricky if it's on federal land to use these funds on federal land. They're supposed to be for state and locals.
Okay. I think he had some type of funding possibly in mind.
Okay. And if you guys need help with the Bureau of Reclamation, they have their own funding as well. And then we can help you guys work with them or work with the landowner, whoever, to say, hey, this is what we want to do to expand camping and recreation in this area. And oftentimes BOR has some pots of money set aside, and with a little congressional direction, we can help accomplish that sometimes.
Okay.
Well, that helps. We can at least be thinking of things.
Yeah.
And we are going to pursue it on this RV area. That'd be a great addition.
Yeah. I think that's a great idea.
So would you send me information that I need, and then we'll contact? Have you got my email address?
I think if I don't, I can get it from Brennan.
Okay.
So, yeah, but I'll send that to you, when we get off this call, and and you guys can ask me any questions, and I'll give you Kathy's contact so you can loop in with her. And I think this is a great idea that you're thinking of, and if we can be helpful at all on the Bureau of Reclamation side, providing some direction to those federal agencies to get some of the work done and prioritize some of the work that you're talking about. Certainly the congressman's got good relationships there and can help make that happen. So these are all good ideas to expand recreation and all the fun stuff we like to do in East Idaho.
Great.
How much fun stuff have you got back there with the Pelosi house?
Oh my gosh, it's crazy right now. The Senate's voting on a package this week, and it's, as in Pelosi's own words, it's only $1 trillion, so it's a skinny bill. I never thought a trillion and skinny would be in the same sentence, but it's a bit nuts right now, and I'm hoping we win back the majority in November, because it was a lot more fun when Mike was chairman of his committee and had a little more autonomy over some of this stuff, because it's getting out of hand what they're trying to do. But yeah, fun stuff, that's one word for it.
She could use that to get about 5 more hairdo appointments.
Yeah, exactly. That was just the most, and then to blame the salon on top of that, holy cow. It's like, gee whiz. But that's sort of their mantra. It's never their fault, someone else's.
Isn't Mike getting kind of tired of it?
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't like it, that's for sure, but he's a funny guy. Sometimes this energizes him, and it gets him excited to come back and try and fix what's going on. I know a lot of people this has down and sort of frustrated, but that's when kind of Mike kicks in and says, all right, let's go solve this thing. And that's what makes him a great guy to work for and a great congressman. So,
he's been great. I mean, early on, they helped us with this regional sewer, and
yeah,
they really went to the wall,
Yeah. Well, it's fun. He likes to solve things, and certainly we got a lot to solve. So there's no shortage of stuff for him to work on, but it should be interesting. That's for darn sure. And, we've only got 3 legislative weeks before the election, and, we've got 3 physical weeks before the end of the fiscal year here. And, and so we've got a lot of work we have to do, not to mention the National Defense Authorization Act, which is probably going to be punted into the lame duck session as well. And it's a bit crazy back here, but, usually once an election happens, cooler heads prevail and they start legislating again. So we'll get back at it. So, but thanks for all you guys. That's more than anything. You're making the real change on the ground.
Yeah, we're making Bryan's the heavy now. He's making everybody wear masks.
I'm on our local health board, so yeah, we're right in the middle of this.
That's it's tough. I imagine, it's not easy to make those hard decisions, right? And sometimes you just have to do what you have to do. And, I personally don't mind wearing a mask if it helps. But it's a tough thing to have to, the word mandate's never popular, right?
Yeah, that's exactly right.
What's the inside the Beltway talk about the election?
It's real close. It's really, really close. Some of the polls I saw today is the race has really tightened up. The president's numbers are about as high on his approval rating as they've been throughout his term. And as you guys have probably read before, there's a lot of silent majority folks out there that vote for him. And so I think you're probably looking at a really tight race. And I was actually out in Pennsylvania a couple weeks ago, and I've never seen so many Trump-Pence signs in my life. I mean, it looked like East Idaho a little bit, and that's, Pennsylvania's not Idaho; it's a swing state. So I'll be interested to see. It's not a runaway.
Might be time to run away, though, if it doesn't work out. You get Biden in there.
Yeah, it could be a bit scary, that's for sure. But Idaho's pretty astute folks. You guys seem to figure it out. You survived 8 years of Obama. You can probably do 4 years of Biden.
He's not the one I'm worried about. It's the ones behind him.
You're right on there. It's a bit scary what's lined up behind him, and she, the VP pick, she's really smart and she knows how to get her way. So, yeah, in any event, the prospect is scary.
Well, tell Mike hi.
I will. And thank you guys for all you do. And, you guys do a great job reaching out to Brennan, and, anything that I need to know, let him know or contact me directly, and we'll just do whatever we can to help. I like kind of brainstorming with you guys on ways we can use this funding from the Great American Outdoors Act. Cause it's, quite honestly, it's a cool program that really benefits Western states more than anything. And we want to make sure that it's disproportionately Idaho, selfishly. So we'll go to bat for you guys, whatever you need.
Perfect.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
We'll be in touch.
Appreciate it.
I'll look forward to the email.
You bet.
Bye. Great idea, Roger.
I started thinking,